This is the retail version of Character Options' 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. This is also the retail version of Character Options' 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. One of these is a fake. Welcome back to the Order, you Doctor Who enthusiasts. This is the second episode in my bootleg reviews, and we're going to work out just how good or bad a Sonic Screwdriver bootleg really is. We'll compare and contrast the packaging, the design and build quality of the screwdriver, and lastly, we'll take a look at the electronics. If you enjoy this video, it would be amazing if you could leave a like and subscribe.
Help a veteran get a warm meal.
Alonzi. Before we get in, I'll clear up any confusion just in case people weren't aware. This is the original, and this is the fake.
It's a fake! Don't you understand? It isn't real!
Broadly speaking, everything about the colours on the bootleg, certainly with the packaging anyway, is considerably darker. The blue colouring is all a grade darker, but also the writing has lost some of the crispness that the original packaging has. On the back, you have the same legal gubbins on the bottom, which is wonderfully ironic for a bootleg, and then you have the same details about the 14th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver itself, but everything again is just a little bit darker and just a little bit less crisp. The best example on the back is at the bottom here, where you can see the very bright pink Character Options detail and logo on the original, and its more darker counterpart on the bottom of the bootleg. On the inside of the packaging, you have the exact same instructions, and overall, it's pretty passable. On this example, the biggest giveaway is probably the zip ties containing the bootleg. But be warned, I have seen bootlegs which use the proper plastic ties, so even that isn't a guaranteed certainty. That's enough about the box. Then we have the screwdriver itself. Can you tell which one of these is bootleg? If you said it's this one, you're wrong, I'm afraid. This is the bootleg. Taking a look at this on its own, as an overall piece, and if you looked at this as a standalone Sonic Screwdriver, it actually passes pretty well. The build quality's okay, colours are okay, the overall sort of paintwork and quality control on the face of it, before we start trying to do anything, seems okay. There's a little bit of weird sort of scum up here.
You rebel scum.
Wonder if I can lick that off. Polish? No, but overall, pretty passable. Let's see how the extension goes.
That's what she said.
That's alright. So, functionally... Ooh, and it's even got that little click to it. Nothing there. The prongs... You know what? Two of them are very sturdy. Two of them are a little bit wobbly. But it's not going anywhere. And then when you want to keep it in its original form... Oh, I accidentally pressed it. Premature. We're going to come on to the electronics in a minute. Interestingly, on the paintwork there, you can see a weird little bit there that's not quite right. I don't know if I've just done that by activating it, because it presumably has hit something. But you can see again, there's some more of that weird sort of scum and slightly dodgy paintwork. I'm not sure it's coming across that well on the camera though, so fair play to you bootleg, you're going to get away with that. Would you know that's a bootleg? Not sure I would. Looked okay, doesn't it? So, on the face of it, looking at it and functionally, doesn't feel bad. Doesn't feel like that's going to break in my hand. Let's test the old clicker. Oh, that is stiff.
That's what she said.
Does feel a little bit like I might break it by doing that, but it works. Completely functional. I'm pretty surprised with this. Let's take a look at this side by side with the official product so that I can really show you the differences. So here we have the original. Looking at the two side by side, the biggest tell visually is there's a slight difference in the colour between the chrome used on the original toy and the chrome used on the fake. The bootleg almost has more of a copper feel to it, whereas it's much more of a goldy feel, a yellowy gold feel on the original. Moving up the Sonic, then you have the fake leather handle, and unlike with the online exclusive, the stitching section is on the back of both of these Sonics. You've got the activation button with the Gallifreyan symbols on it, and both of them, again, very passable. So if we look at the crackle, this is actually probably the most noticeable difference. But if you weren't looking for this, you wouldn't know. Both have a shiny feel to it because it is a sticker. There's not really a change in the texture, but if you look closely at the crackle, you'll see that the bootleg only has the darker, richer sort of veins and the almost primary layer of crackle, whereas the official design is far more vascular.
Look how vascular I am, Brian. If there's one thing women love, it's a vascular man.
In the way it has these sub-layers. And then we move up to the emitter. And again, very well done by the bootleg. There's actually slightly less of the emitter section, so it's actually a shorter sonic screwdriver, not by much, but just ever so slightly, with slightly less of the transparent section in the middle of the emitter. So let's look at them extended then. Again, would you notice the difference? If I swapped these around, would you be able to tell me which one was which? I'm not sure I would. Of course I would, I'm the reviewer. That's a stupid thing to say. Gosh darn it, tricked myself. Well, there's a question. Which one's the bootleg? Can you tell? It's this one. One thing to note is on the bootleg, the claws don't extend quite as wide as they do on the original. There's actually far more wobble on the original, but again, that could just be because I've played around with it and I've been... Oh! It might just be because I've been flicking it. Which you never did. Absolute mistake. So, let's test out the electronics. There's an actual LED inside the core on the bootleg, whereas on the original it relies on the light being transmitted up the core. So, okay, I mean, it doesn't look bad though, does it? Again, it's slightly more cloudy on the core on the original, and this is more transparent, but that looks quite cool, almost like it's got electricity pulsing through it. What's wrong with me? I think I prefer the bootleg.
Don't you understand? It is real!
So there's a delay in the electronics when you press down on this. There's a delay in it activating and a delay in it ending. But not huge. But enough. You can see there. So it's not as instantaneous as the original. Well done, original. But overall the colour looks pretty on point. Which is completely different to the online exclusive bootleg had a dark, rich blue. So here they've actually used the correct shade of blue pretty much. Looking at it from the top end, this is the original and it should have a more orangey sort of colour to it than this. So there you go. I sort of like the pulsating blue. What's wrong with me? I genuinely kind of loving that. I think that looks cool. No? It's just me? Kind of boring. Rubbish original. Let's have a look at the other sound settings. So, the next setting is number 2. Ooh. Okay, I like that. On the bootleg, it kind of fluctuates to red, which I really like. Can you see that red coming in there? Little, there we go. It sort of pops through a little red. Oh, what's wrong with that? I really like that. Oh, I wish the original did that. Character options. Please contact the bootleg providers of your Sonic in order to get tips on how to make it better. Right, on to number 3. So, goes through all of the different functions there, and does it pretty well. Oh, I'm at a loss here. The bootleg's doing alright. Not only is it standing up, but I also love that little bit of red that fluctuates through there. And I love the LEDs in that core, because it actually looks really cool. Like the electricity's pulsing up the core. Oh no. Am I a Bootleg fan now?
Don't you understand? It is real!
Well, I think it stood up. Yeah, a little bit worried here that I'm promoting bootlegs. I'm not promoting bootlegs at all, but you can't deny these things look pretty good close to each other. There's a couple of tells on the packaging, but with this one, with this version of the 14th, if you gave me this, I'd think this was the genuine article. If I didn't know what I was looking for with the original. And like I said, there's some elements of the bootleg that I much prefer. So, terrifying. The last thing that I'm going to compare quickly is the battery section. Very clear, distinct, pop on, pop off. So again, because that battery section is so well done, I don't think I would know. And it looks clean, it looks professional. And bet you there's a CE marker in here. Yeah, there you go. Oh, the irony, the wonderful irony of the bootleg. If you're not UK based and it's difficult for you to pick up one of these screwdrivers and you're desperate, Aliexpress is where I got this from. I'll leave a link to the particular Aliexpress shop so that you know you're going to get a similar one. I'm not promoting bootlegs, and that's not the purpose. If anything, the purpose of this comparison was A, to show you what the differences were to look out for, because they have flooded the market, but also I sort of thought I'd be showing you how rubbish they were. And actually, the first two in the series, which have been the 14th Dr. Sonics, are actually really good. I can't imagine you'd be massively upset unless you were desperate for an original. But what do you guys think? Would you guys be happy with this?